everything we've done has led us to here. We're no longer an idea. I don't think you could actually get larger than TED unless you plan on colonizing Mars. It literally touches the entire globe. Universal basic income, universal retirement. AI is the biggest technology that our world has ever seen. You cannot get a bigger technology than that. AI just rolled out. It's the beginning days of it. We are there right now. What makes now different? We have a patent. I saw and said, listen, let's do this now. And when someone says, let's do this now, it's good for theatrics, right? Like, did he really say that? Like, did he say that in the moment? Getting a patent is not cheap. You have to make the decision that your idea is patentable. Then you have to make the decision that you are the only one that sees something that no one else sees, and that you have to go ahead and patent it immediately because everyone's going to want it in the future. And then you have to find the right patent attorney that's credible. Then you have to pay them $15,000 to do all of the stuff that they do, all while you're getting a piece of paper that you just believe that you're the only one in the entire world that finds it valuable, and that someday people are going to say, wow, that was a good idea. That's how you patent something. Think about the level and the number of risks that are involved in doing that. So when I say to you or to anyone, I saw it, you cannot dismiss, he just, stepped into a pile of patents, right? Hey, Ted wakes it up. Good night, Ted puts it to sleep. You can engage with it as much as you'd like. There is no limit to it. Hey, Ted, blah, 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 blah. Okay. When you're not engaging with it, it hears everything. It's like a fly on the wall. There's nothing in your day that Ted does not know that's going on based on just auditorily listening to it. It could hear that you're in a car. It could hear that you went far. It could hear that you like green eggs and ham, Sam I am, right? So it heard you talk to your wife, it heard you talk to your son, it heard you go to work, it heard that this person was a jerk to you, it heard that this person was really nice, it heard that you wanted to get Chinese, and all of this data is within TED. It's actually quite simple. It's just a doc. So it's a TXT, a text doc, and all of the aggregate data gets placed on that doc. What TED does is it then analyzes the raw data to make deductions. Anthony is dating a Chinese lady. Anthony always liked Chinese food, and now while he's dating this Chinese lady, he gets Chinese food all of the time. She doesn't like Chinese food. She wants Italian food because he's Italian. I've noticed that when he's not with her, he eats Chinese food, and when he is with her, he eats Italian food. I know he's gonna be with her Friday. What do I think he's gonna want to eat, right? And that's just a very, very simple, because I've offered you only like 3 variables? Take those variables, multiply it to infinity, bring it down to the depths of your soul, and you'll just basically get a grasp of all the variables that TED takes in. So it makes these deductions. Now these deductions go up to the blockchain. There's a TED blockchain. So I gotta make this very clear. It's not anchored to identity, it's anchored to behavior. So person A dating a Chinese girl and all of that stuff I just told you. And it goes up to the TED blockchain. Now the TED blockchain is like, what Bitcoin is, transactional. Now, first of all, it doesn't actually exist. Like I'm telling you what we're going to create. So it's like Bitcoin, it has the transactional IDs. So what's the point of all that? It just goes up there. Now TED knows who you are because it's in TED. It's in that doc, that TXT doc that is biometrically encrypted. Now again, this doesn't exist yet, but I'm speaking it out loud because if someone says, well, that's not a good idea, you know what I'll do? I'll change the idea. That's how invention works. I don't need a product today. I do all of these meetings and do all this so that we can constantly be in touch, but I also need to learn more. Like I'm only one person. It will be biometrically, fingerprint, eye, you might have to spit on it, like I don't know, but it will be you. So for the purposes of this conversation, please understand that the data is saved. Just take that to the bank, okay? Great. So now all of that data, the deductions of the data go up to the TED blockchain. Okay, great. But the purpose for the deductions, to make recommendations. It doesn't have to be commerce. It doesn't have to be like, oh, I think you want Fruit Loops today. It could be like, Aunt, there's that girl Mary that works at the checkout. I just noticed every time you talk to her, there's a difference in you. Have you ever thought about asking her out for coffee? I bet she'd say yes. Every time she talks to you, I don't know if you noticed, but she always brings up her grandmother. And you love your grandmother. She lives right near you. Maybe next time you see her, kind of just talk about your grandmother and see if she gets excited and offer to take out like a like a 4-person double date with grandmothers to the Starbucks. Do you know how amazing that would be if somebody told me that? And they would be able to tell me that because they would know that's the right decision for me, but at the same time, they've already made all the calculations for the other person. Well, remember that TED blockchain thing we spoke of? Every TED ever sends everything up to the TED blockchain, which means the TED blockchain is just this galactical tapestry of raw data and deductions all over the place. What do you do with that? Well, TED knows you. It has all of your raw data. It constantly calculates who you are, optimizes. I thought he was going to say yes. He said no. This is why he said no. Redo, redo, redo. Okay. TED understands that you have a pattern of behavior. There's things that we do that we'll always do, and there's some things that like, oh, you caught me on a weird day, but we basically are who we are. TED now has the ability to identify my pattern of behavior and then produce a duplicate of that and match it up against the tapestry of the galactical TED blockchain. Has there ever been anyone in the galactical tapestry of the history of the TED blockchain that has ever checked out at a grocery store and had a difference in voice with the nice checkout girl, and that I was able to start seeing that they went to the store different times, they waited on longer lines? Because I'm Ted, I know how long the line is, I'm sitting here, I know what time you went there, I can look at a clock. These are all the variables. Has that ever happened before in the entire history of the world? Well, yes. Which pattern of behavior best fits this? I need to find one that replicates Anthony mostly, his personality, replicates the girl mostly, replicates this moment in his life, his age, her, all of that history. Can I find a pattern of behavior that meets a 95% overlap? Yeah. What is the outcome Anthony wants? I think he wants to date her, like he's single and whatever. Okay. So in that pattern of behavior, all the ones that we picked out, has there ever been one where the person successfully dated the person? Yes. Okay, let's take that, match it up against Anthony, and see what we can accurately and reasonably deduce about future behaviors and outcomes if Anthony takes these next steps. That's instinctual in Ted. So when Ted says, hey, Aunt, have you ever thought about asking her out on a date with your grandmother? Those calculations were already made. Ted already believes that the outcome is going to be 95% certainty, a good outcome that I'm going to enjoy. Without education, I don't think you have a fighting chance in society at all. What AI allows us to do is it's right at the beginning. Everyone could get educated from here. So when you think back at that whole challenge with the towns, because people will be unemployed, do I think this UBI model is going to kick in quick enough that the towns are going to be like rescued? No, you know what's going to rescue the towns way before that? Walmarts of the world that say, hey, listen, I see that you have a high unemployment. We could come in there and build a factory, build a store, and we'll hire like 300 people. And we'll be able to sell to your community because all your businesses went out of business. That's why you're unemployed, because you have nowhere to work, meaning you're not actually making things anymore. So this is what we'll do for you, because we're Walmart. We're like really nice people. We're going to come to your community, Mr. Mayor, and we're going to build a store, and we're going to hire like 300-400 people. And for that, oh, you know what else we're also going to do? We're going to contribute to your campaign, because you got an election, right? You want to win, right? But the deal you're going to make with us is once you do win, you're going to allow us to do that, and rah, you brought in jobs, everyone, like you're the savior, like whatever. They're stupid, they don't know anything. You save them, but we're not going to pay tax to you for the next decade. That's the deal. We're employing your people. They're going to pay taxes. The money that we're not going to pay you for the next decade, you don't have anyway. So net, Mr. Mayor, it looks like we're making you a good deal. These people are going to pay you. So what happened? The government is now in partnership with the corporations, and the corporations are hiring people knowing that they have no competitive offer. So what do you think they're going to pay them? Nothing. Which means there's going to be a certain Laffer curve, fair balance between what a person needs to make to live and nothing more, because there's no competition. And do you think that mayor's ever going to cross them? And if he does, guess what's going to happen? There'll be a new mayor. This will be the model that corporations do going forward, because no one's educated or trained to participate and compete in an AI field when those guys are the best at it, because they have the smartest people that come out of the best schools. But that's not your job. You're mom and pop on Main Street. In what world did you think you have to all of a sudden learn AI to not be someone's slave? when you start to put the math together and say that the AI is going to take over the labor and the companies are going to become increasingly more profitable, increasingly more efficient, then what is their only overhead? Marketing? Okay, I don't have any employees. I make products as efficient as ever. I can get it to people in like drop shipped and drones and all the rest. I just need to make more money. So the money I have, yeah, we're all gonna keep it. Like we're the fat cats, the stocks, the executives. Yeah, more. But we do need to like go get more slaves, right? Like we need to get more money and do more marketing and more Facebook. Yeah, they're those people. If you put that out, they'll click it and then they go through the funnel and then they do the upsell and then they do the nudge and then you do the command. We know how those people work. They're like ants from an ant farm. That's the life we're gonna live? Seriously? So what TED allows is, hey, that dude over there, Anthony, that's my guy. That girl over there, Mary, that's my gal. If you want to talk to her, you got to go through me. My name is Ted, and this is the way it's going to work. I have every business within a 20-mile radius of any step that Mary takes. And those businesses, should Mary be in a position that I believe with a 95% reasonable certainty that she would want to participate in those businesses or they could be an added value immediate to her life, I will recommend it to her. And let me tell you something, Mary and I, we're like this. And months from now, or whatever the case, I'm going to just autonomously do this for her. And how do I know she's going to say yes? When I achieve a 95% acceptance rate in any particular micro niche, like what kind of coffee I want, well then she grants me the permission that I can make that decision myself, because that particular micro niche, why spend the time wasting the time when she would just be grateful if I just did it for her? Meaning, when you're subscribed into TED, you are now a part of the ledger of companies that I will recommend. Company, would that be good for you? You don't have to do marketing ever again. You will always get the exact best person at the exact right time, the exact second they need it, and I will be able to make the transaction automatically. In fact, if I believe that Mary needs it a week from now, I'll pre-order it, because why waste time? Do you think that would be a benefit to you, Mr. Company? Oh my God. So you're telling me we don't ever need to do anything but make our product? If we did that, we could actually spend more time on making it better and better and better. Yes. Would you subscribe to that? Of course I would. Duh. Like, where's the sign up? The money they subscribe doesn't go to me. It goes to the members of TED. Member of TED for free. TED doesn't cost you anything. So TED is going to be an IPO by 2027. That's been the goal the whole way through. Meaning once TED is a stock, TED, hopefully, I'm praying that ticker symbol's still available then. All right, so people buy and sell TED like they do McDonald's, right? You can buy the stock, sell the stock, whatever. The revenue that comes in from the companies that are subscribing to TED goes to the users, to you, right? Okay, great. But it doesn't go to you as cash. 100% of it goes to buying the TED stock. Now the TED stock then gets equally distributed to all of the users. Stock, you can sell. It's as liquid as water. You can get onto your E-Trade or Robinhood, sell, and then you have the cash right away. The question becomes, will there ever be a time that 100% of the people at the same exact time all sell the TED stock? No. And what is the revenue coming in from TED? All of the businesses, all of the users of TED. Is there anyone in the world that would say, I don't want that whole thing you just described, even though it's going to pay me every day, and not just pay me as in like I need the money, but the money that I deserve, that I've earned, that I own my own data, and you are finally the first way to actually give it to me. And I just don't want to be a part of that at all. I don't think that's going to be the case. In fact, what will be the case is businesses that don't opt into TED will have to fight the scalability of TED. Because as TED has more people, those businesses will never be recommended. And they're going to say, guys, we have to get into that thing because nobody gets recommendation. That thing is making autonomous purchases for its people. If we don't get into that, we're never going to see a sale again. We have to get into that, which means there's more money that come in and gets bought to that purchases a stock that gets distributed to the people. So what happens to a stock that the entire globe owns and the entire business community pay into to buy the stock every single day? It goes up. What happens to that same stock when only a small percentage of the people actually sell. Because what do they need to sell for? It's going up. If they need the money, fine. But of that 100%, how many of it actually need the money that second? Not that many. Therefore, if it's constantly and perpetually going higher, then the behavior is to not sell it. So even if you need the money, maybe you hold off on it. So you create a chasm where everyone's buying and no one's selling. Money is transferable. So if I own a share of McDonald's and I sell a share of McDonald's, what did I do? I sold my equity in McDonald's. I have cash and now they're worth less. Now it's almost like the argument, if you throw a pebble in the ocean, does the ocean level rise? It does, but it's so microscopic that you would never be able to calculate it. So when you sell a share of McDonald's, the value of the company decreases, but it's so microscopic because you have one share. Okay, so let me ask you this question. When you see TED stock continually moving higher at the rate it's going, with a user base and an investor base that's the entire globe and an entire world that has to buy into it because that's how you get a subscription to TED, what's going to happen to people that own other stocks? Why am I at McDonald's when this thing is flying through the roof? I'm gonna sell some of it, and that perpetuates a sale that ends up bankrupting every single company in the world. Now, let me preface this by saying, I think somebody would sooner kill me before I could bankrupt every company in the world. So I don't think that's going to happen. But can I tell you the math exists? Like that actually mathematically on a market mechanics would happen? Yes, because the money will be sold from other companies to diversify into TED, which means TED actually has the opportunity to finally do the one thing that Rhino has always wanted to do from day one, transfer the wealth from Wall Street to Main Street. Because as you sell all of those companies, you're selling equity in them, they decrease in value, you collect cash, they're buying TED stock. Who owns TED stock? The users. Wall Street owns McDonald's, you sell McDonald's, you have cash, take the cash, buy TED. Who owns TED? Main Street. Wall Street, Main Street. It's a straight line. The towns that participate in TED will create an AI agency. This agency is funded by the local government, and where are they gonna get the money? Well, if they don't, they're gonna go bankrupt. And TED will actually loan the money because this is a missionary statement of TED. Obviously, I don't think we're gonna be able to do it the first year. TED will have his own curriculum and we'll share it with the towns and constantly have a touch point like, hey guys, you know what, maybe TED just teaches TED, right? Like at that point, I don't think I even need a human person to teach anything. We could have TED teach it. But the point being, there will be an oversight, but technology is technology. There's not room for politics in technology. It's not like it's Christopher Columbus, a good person or a bad person. It's to code this tech, you need to do this. To work AI this way, right? So it's like math, it's objective. So the town will go ahead and employ everyone in the town. And that could be so much money. What if there's like 1,000 people unemployed? Well, I guess the town's employing 1,000 people. The businesses that are in the town that are still in business, they're going to have to compete because they're beating them digitally. Because once the Walmarts of the world capture the data of the people, they're able to infect their computer and say, hey, you look at this ad, look at this ad, look at this ad. So you need to be able to teach them in a way that they're able to kind of force field the community. So these individual companies need to learn how to do AI so that they could compete and combat what others are doing. Because people will always prioritize their neighbor. If Walmart is selling you red shoes for a paid advertisement, or your neighbor Mary is selling you red shoes because she's trying to stay in business and your kids know each other and you're gonna buy it from Mary. Local business will always have the upper hand. AI agency is contracted to the businesses. So let's say Mary owns a shoe shop. Hey, I'm really getting my butt kicked because I don't know AI and tech. I go over to the AI agency. Can you give me somebody that can help me with this stuff and put together a process and infrastructure and teach my employees how to do it so that we can compete? Yes, that work is done on a contractual basis between Mary and the AI agency as represented by that particular team member, paid by the government, the local community, but offering services to Mary for free. Because you're not going to make Mary competitive if she's telling you, I need help, and then you start charging her. That doesn't make any sense. It will not work. So Mary now has a business that's able to compete. And what happened to Lucy, who's the representative that helped Mary's business? Well, Lucy's literally learning AI enough that she can help businesses. Did that just hit you? Lucy now has a marketable skill. She can go get jobs in the world because she's doing it, she's practicing it, she's learning it. So maybe Mary says, Lucy, I kind of want to hire you full time. Like, you know our business, you've been such a godsend, our business is doing amazing because you're here, please come over here. I will hire you. And here's the thing, the AI agency sets the rate. If you want to hire Lucy, it's a 3-year contract at $100,000 a year. That's what you have to sign on. Because I don't think Mary and Lucy should be negotiating. It's not fair. Lucy's already unemployed and she's working at a place. She has no competitive offers, and Mary's not going to take advantage of her and perpetuate all of that. So now Lucy gets hired. She has a great job. There's one less person the government's paying on the unemployment, the AI agency, and Mary's business is booming. Now, what about the people that are in the AI agency that don't get offers like that because there's not enough businesses to do the offers? They sit there and say to themselves, I'm making like $25 an hour. I guess that's cool. But I know enough that I could start my own business right now and probably make like $100,000 a month. Let me go do that. That person leaves the AI agency and starts that business. What does the town receive as a function of a new booming business and a new healthy tax roll? Tax revenue. So now the town that was down and out and having to get on their knees and pray that Walmart comes in and takes advantage of them, is now in such a position that it has more money than it's ever had before. It has the best cops, the best free education, the best free healthcare, because it can take care of its society. There's that much money there because the town was able to isolate and silo itself economically while being able to venture outside if they cared to. Remember how TED can do those autonomous purchases? Remember the UBI model? Remember the retirement model? Where is all of this sitting? In your JP Morgan Chase account? What are you, out of your mind? We have the opportunity to actually create a TED account. That TED account will be where all of the UBI comes in. It'll be where all of the autonomous purchases go out. It will be, by all intents and purposes, your highest transactional account. What does anyone need a bank for anymore? Seriously, what would you need a bank for? All of your transactions are in an account that you own. You would own your own bank, the bank of you. You would own your bank. So how do you transact with other people? Well, TED will have that functionality. Hey, Ted, it's already transacting with people, but what if you want to make a purchase that Ted didn't think of? Hey, Ted, I want to do this. Okay, great, boom. Hey, Ted, my friend Mary? Yeah, I know Mary. I talk to Mary's Ted all the time. Don't you worry. I'll send her, how much she wants? 20, okay, great. That's a whole new world of banking that doesn't exist right now. We're able to reinvent and reimagine what banking looks like. All of that essence that is you that's in TED, do you know how valuable that is? AI will become embodied. What do I mean by that? There will be smart sensors. You walk into a building, it knows the temperature you like, it conforms to that temperature. It knows the colors you like on the walls, it knows the songs you want to hear. There's robot cops on the corner with guns, there's robot dogs, there's robot hairstyle, like whatever. There's going to be embodied tech that does things. Well, do you have to spend your time telling this tech every single day who you are so you don't get shot? How is that scalable? There's a cop on the corner, how does it know to serve and protect me? How does it know who I am versus anybody else? It's going to have to be able to identify the person. The government and the corporations have enough data if they got together. Facebook will say, hey, I know who their friends are and what they like. Amazon will say, I know what they purchase and where it gets sent to. Google will say, I know what they search when no one's looking. Tesla will say, I know where their car goes. I know where they drive. The JP Morgan Chase will say, I know where they go to the ATM. We have the cameras. Every store in the municipality will say, we have security cams. We can just give that all to you. The government says, I have their police records. I have the cameras on the traffic lights. Let's put all of this together. And are we able to know who Mary is? Yeah, they know who you are. By all intents and purposes, they know who you are to such an extent that you would have to argue why you're not that person. To who? Who are you going to argue it to? Hey, government, you said I like macaroni and cheese. I don't. I actually like penne alla vodka. Okay, let me submit that, and now I got to wait for them to submit back. For what reason? The problem is, now the government's telling you who you are. But why is that important? Remember that embodied tech, the cop with the gun and stuff? Has he know who you are? He's able to identify you through the persona that the government is telling him who you are. Maybe it's through an RFID chip. Maybe it's through like a facial recognition. Maybe it's like everyone has to travel with their card or whatever the heck they'll come up with so that the embodied tech can serve and protect and can do these things. Because you know what the municipalities are going to say? Guys, I don't know what you want from us. We don't have the money. Everyone's unemployed. We did this UBI thing. Where'd you think the money was going to come from? We had to get less cops. So it's already, you could kind of see the pieces, but no one's saying this stuff out loud because it's a very, very small cabal that I think is even smart enough to see this. Luckily, it's almost like I was like, hey, listen, I see what you guys are doing, but peace out. Those are my people. And here I am. So that essence of you with Ted. It's called a TED card. Now you have, and it's not like a physical card, but for the purposes of this conversation, you have this card where the government says, we're gonna have this embodied tech, we're gonna have the cops with the guns and stuff, but since you guys don't know, like you don't have any data organized, we're gonna do it for you, don't worry. Oh, no. We have this. This knows us better than anyone. This is accountable to us. This is everything about me, but I own it. So when I walk past that cop, the cop's gonna know who I am, and I'm gonna get along quite well with it. So if you wanna have any type of embodied tech in the world, it's going to be because the users, the people, have control over who they are. You see, the difference between these two roads is one road, you're a complete slave and indentured servant and left to do what you're told to do, where population is really like kind of quietly trying to be quashed because you're just a burden. The only people that have the money are the people that own the stocks because they're the ones that use the AI to make you irrelevant. So you have lords and slaves, or you have the right side, which is the TED card, which actually turns AI from competitor to collaborator. Like that's the path. That's out there. The reason why that's all important is because we have the patent to everything I just said. So if you think, Ant, I think you're a little manic, but I think you tell a story that is very, at least worthy of debate. Wait, you own the patent? Like everything you just, the solution, yeah, I do. But what does it mean to today? Well, because we achieved all those milestones, what we now need to do is find the partners. Can we go to a Facebook? Can we go to a Tesla? Can we go to these people and say, hey guys, listen, this is what we have, is that we own the flow of user plus AI companion plus closed-end marketplace to facilitate commerce. Meaning, if you believe that you're ever going to make an AI companion that's going to recommend anything, now we're not coming to you saying we're trying to sue you. This isn't a lawsuit conversation. This is an icebreaker conversation. This is what we have, and we would like to partner with you. Let's have a conversation and what that would look like. For that to happen, this is the value of our company. We have X amount of investors. They need to be taken care of. You're going to buy them all out while offering them the ability to retain ownership if they'd like. I'm going to keep my stock. Let's partner and go forward. That's the deal. So New Jersey has noticed this. That's where our partnership comes with them. So we've been invited to apply to the AI Hub, which is a project by Governor Murphy called AI Moonshot. This is what he wants to be known for, that he wants to have a roundtable that's like a working group that can develop and identify some type of AI innovation, privacy protection that can lead the state, and then the state to lead the nation, and then the nation to lead the world in AI. We've been invited to apply. We've had the New Jersey Economic Development Authority book a call on our calendar. We've spoken to them 4 times and have been on 3 conference calls with other team members of theirs. We have applied and have a good belief that we'll be accepted. Why not? Right? I don't think anyone has an idea like this, and we organized it quite well, and we own the patents, and they invited us to apply. I believe that we will be in that working group. So quite literally, you very likely are talking to someone that will be a voice for many, many years to come. And if you think that being the voice on AI while owning a company that has investors in the exact voice that I'm sharing with others is a bad thing, you're Looney Tunes. Okay, so we're going to do that. Secondarily, though, we've also been invited to participate in the Evergreen Fund, well, actually to apply to it. New Jersey has let us know that we've been approved that we can offer any venture capital firm in the entire world, I said that right, in the entire world, that qualifies. So they need to have at least $10 million and they need to submit an application to the NJEDA. But upon submitting the application, it is built for speed, verbatim. Anthony, it's a same-day approval process. Okay, so let's just make sure that they're not like crooks, right? Like that they're real people. So we can share our idea with any venture capital firm in the entire globe. And should they think that we have a good idea, should they think our patents are, should they think anything that I just said sounds like anything worth anything, they can invest up to $5 million, and New Jersey will match them dollar for dollar. So we will come into $10 million that day, and New Jersey will pay them a management fee to manage the whole thing on the entire $10 million. What we're doing right now is we need to be bridged from here to there. I need my time to just do this. That's all. Because conversely, if I don't do this, then I need to spend time finding and creating products and services to make revenue so that I can maybe somehow do this on the side. And anyone that's invested in Rhino knows that's not the right thing to do. We're right there. Let's go do it. The AI market is right now, I believe, well, in 2022, it was worth $40 billion. In 2032, it's going to be worth 1.81 trillion. That's a compound annual growth rate of 42%. Every year is as much investment as last year plus 42% more investment. Meaning we have 8 years ahead of us of compound. How many good ideas are? First of all, let's say you say, Anthony, I don't think your idea is that great. Okay, great. In 2 years from now, do you think there'll be dumber ideas than mine? Because I can tell you 8 years from now, they're still going to get funded. 5 years from now, there'll be dumber ideas than mine because they're still going to be funded. So the idea that we will not have a value that will be sustainable and supportable because we're sitting on the shoulders of a revolution that's going to last for at least 8 years in the most magnificent tsunami of investment funds is cuckoo. I really, really believe everyone should be a part of it. And it's not so much be a part of it and to make millions of dollars because, I mean, has anyone ever seen me like glitz and glam? Do you know right before this I was still wearing the shirt from yesterday's and I had to go run real quick to put something different on because I knew there'd be some of the same people see me wearing the same clothes? I'm societal mission driven. That's it. So do you want to be a part of this? And if you are, do you want to continue being a part of it and continue supporting? Any support's great, but continued support's the best. I love you. We'll see you tomorrow. Bye, everyone.